A very good morning, dear students. I, Seema Sharma, welcome you in the English lecture where we will be discussing our lesson number 3 of Reader, What is Your Water Footprint? So far, we have completed 2 lessons and I am pretty sure you are doing your learning side by side. And I hope you are not waiting for your unit test to knock on your door to start up with your learning. So what are we going to study in our third lesson? Our third lesson is based upon the importance of water, and it is also a warning and alarm that we should check how much water we are consuming. What are the different sources of water? In whatever activities human beings are performing, how much water we are consuming, we need to keep a track of that. So this lesson revolves around the same and it is referred as your water footprint. Before I start the explanation of the lesson, I'll be sharing a few pictures related to the source of water. I hope you enjoy watching it.
A very good morning, dear children. I welcome you to the explanation of your reader's lesson number 3, What is Your Water Footprint? And like I had said, I would be sharing with you a few pictures related to the topic. So on the screen you can see the different sources of water and you will be easily able to identify which are man-made sources and which are natural sources of water. Now we know that as soon as we get up early in the morning, we have to use water for the various activities like taking bath, brushing our teeth, making food, washing our clothes, washing our dishes, etc. So no doubt that we have to do these activities and we do have to use the water, but what we can do is we should not waste it. That should be ensured. Natural sources of water are plenty. We all know that. Oceans are there, rivers are there, ponds are there, streams are there. But whatever natural source of water we are having, it is not exactly usable by humans because there is salt present in the water. It is not fit for drinking. So we need to conserve every drop of water and we should use water in a manner so that it is available for the coming generations as well. Coming over to the topic, what is your water footprint? Let us understand what is the meaning of footprint. Water footprint means the amount of water which you consume for performing the activities during the day. And when you talk about yourself, that for what are the activities you're using water, that would be your individual water footprint. Similarly, we know that these days industrialization has taken place. So many industries are there producing various kinds of goods and we use all sorts of goods produced by the industries. For example, right now you're wearing clothes. These clothes have been manufactured by some garment industry. We consume biscuits. Those biscuits are manufactured by some industry. So different products we use in our day-to-day life are manufactured by different companies. These industries or corporate houses, even they use water for manufacturing, for making these products, and that would be referred as the water footprint of the corporate. So now let's begin with the lesson. How much water does it cost to make a product? While calculating this cost or the corporate water footprint help make business more water sustainable. Judicious use of this resource is imperative, but unless one knows how much water is being used, how can they take steps to limit their usage? So the writer is telling us, until and unless we don't start calculating, we don't start evaluating how much water is used by the corporate, by the different industries, until they are not aware about the usage, they will not be able to calculate how they are supposed to control and how much quantity is to be controlled. A water footprint helps one understand the amount of water being used at an individual level all the way to a national level and in the numerous processes involved in manufacturing and producing our goods and services. So like I had said, that what we consume individually, that is our individual water footprint, and what is national level water footprint? When we evaluate all the industries present in our country and how much amount of water they are using for producing the goods and services, we will be able to calculate the national level as well. An accurate water footprint also takes into account the amount of water contaminated during the manufacturing and production process. This tool gives a solid water accounting framework and aids us all in our efforts to be more efficient and conservative with our water use. So what happens? What is contaminated water? Water which becomes impure because of impurities added into it because of the various industries, that is contaminated water. So industries, they are first of all using the water to produce the things. Then second bad thing which they are doing, I can say, is that they are leading out the waste of the industries into the water bodies nearby, any river or stream that is flowing nearby, and the water of that river or stream becomes unfit or unhealthy, and it cannot be used for for irrigating the crops or maybe for drinking of the people who reside nearby. So two ways wastage is taking place, and we need to take care of the wastage from both the sides. The water footprint of an individual is the amount of water he/she uses in and around his/her home, school or office throughout the day. It includes the water used directly, like that from a tap, as well as the water used indirectly. So we all know that we use water, and that is our individual footprint. So what is direct usage? Say for example, you are drinking a glass of water, that is your direct usage of water. If you are using water to take bath, that is your direct usage of water. But say suppose you are eating biscuits. Now the factory that is making biscuits is also using water to make the biscuit, so that becomes your indirect usage of water. So whatever goods or services we are using, that also we have to evaluate that we do not consume more of those services which take a lot of water. What do you mean by recycling? The water footprint of a business, the corporate water footprint, is defined as the total volume of fresh water that is used directly or indirectly to run and support a business. The water footprint concept was introduced in 2002 by Arjun Y. Hoekstra. So now what is recycling? Recycling means using a thing once again by transforming it. Say for example, you have washed the vegetables today in water. That water you are having. Now that water is obviously not fit for drinking, but what use you can put that water for? You can put that water in some plant which you have grown. So what happens? Even the plant is able to absorb the water. So two benefits you have done. You have washed your vegetables, and as well as you have given the plant some water. So you have recycled it, you have reused it. And the concept of water footprint was given by Arjun Y. Hoekstra in the year 2002. So according to them, water has been classified into three types. Now let us hear what are the three types. The first one is blue waters, fresh water in lakes, rivers, aquifers. It refers to the amount of surface and groundwater used to produce products. This includes the water that evaporates from these sources also. So on the earth's surface there are many water bodies, and those water bodies that contain water, like the oceans, rivers and lakes, they are referred as blue water. And we all know that from earth's surface the water gets evaporated, it changes into vapor, it forms clouds, and then we have the rainfall. So this water can be easily evaporated, that is the blue water. Next is green water. What is green water? It refers to the amount of rainwater that is evaporated from the soil. Now we also know that when it rains, the soil or the mud absorbs the water. Where does this water go? Inside the soil there are different layers of rocks and soil. So what happens? There are certain rocks which allow water to pass through it, and there are certain rocks which do not allow water to pass through it, like the permeable and the impermeable rocks. So when the water goes down, and it reaches a layer of impermeable rock, so there the water starts getting stored, and that is why when we dig wells we are able to get water. When we set up hand pumps, so water comes down from the soil. So this water is not that easy to be evaporated. Next is grey water. Grey water refers to the polluted water. It refers to the volume of water required to remove the pollutants from used water to bring it back to a quality that is acceptable according to the prescribed norms. So what happens? Grey water is the water which we have polluted. We have added some impurities into it, and in order to make it fit so that we can use it again, so some things have to be carried on with that so that we can purify it. So the purification process needs to be carried out. Say for example, in our taps we receive water, and that water we put it into the RO, and when it gets purified then it becomes fit for drinking. So similarly, the water which is provided to us by the government for our daily activities, even that water they first purify and then they send it to us. How to reduce water footprint? In case of direct footprint, we can do the following. Now when we are using the water, how to save it? How to reduce the usage? Install water saving toilets and showers. Close the taps while brushing your teeth and shaving. Use recycled water in the garden. Harvest rainwater and use it for the recharging groundwater or for secondary uses like washing cars and gardening. See, the uses which just now I have read, these are the things that daily almost every one of us does. So what are the ways we can do? We cannot avoid doing these activities. We cannot avoid taking bath or using the toilets. We cannot avoid brushing our teeth. We cannot avoid keeping the plants dry. Yes, of course we have to use the water, but the amount we are using, that can be put a check. How can we reduce our water footprint? If it is indirect footprint, we should be conscious of what we buy. We should make sure that we buy products that have a comparatively lesser water footprint. For example, buying a product that is produced from a place that is less prone to water scarcity, switching to products that have a lesser water footprint, this will encourage industries to be more water conscious and transparent in their water consumption. So what they are saying, that the one direct usage which we are making, we can reduce it very easily because it is in our hand. So indirect usage, how we will manage? We cannot tell any company to stop using water, and we cannot go and tell them use this much or that much. But what we can do, we can put a check on how much of the product we are consuming from a company which uses more of water. We should start avoiding those products, because if you are not buying the products, there will be less supply of the product, less production of the product, because they know that nobody is going to buy it, or many people are not going to buy it, so they will reduce making that product, and then you can save the water indirectly also. Growing crops that we buy, such as wheat, pulses, vegetables and fruits, consumes water. And similarly, in our fooding habits also we can make certain changes, because there are certain crops, like if I talk about rice, tea, all these crops require a lot of water. So if we avoid, rather than eating rice, if we start consuming some other cereals, some other modes, we change into eating more of fruits and vegetables and things that consume less of water in its growth. So that way also we will be able to reduce, we'll be putting a check on the water footprint. The Water Footprint Network has developed a calculator which can help individuals assess their water footprint based on their lifestyle and their location. The calculations are based on water requirements per unit of product as in the country of residence. So what they are saying, that there is a network, there are people who are working upon, they are calculating how much water is being used upon by one single person, and how much what kind of a products that particular area people are buying, and what these products are produced by what kind of industries, how much those industries are using. So all these things can be calculated, and once we are able to get the calculation of the total, then what can we do? Then we come to the individual deciding what consumption and how much consumption of things are to be done. How much of water does an individual use? How much water does a company use? Does it recycle any? And most importantly, how much does a finished product cost in terms of water? Only once such an evaluation is carried out can the water footprint both in terms of fresh water used and polluted wastewater released be reduced. So what are they telling us? They are saying us that we should put a calculation of everything that we use in terms of water consumed in that, and only then we will be able to get the correct calculation how to save it. And we also have to put a check that the pollution created in water should be reduced, and if suppose we are wasting some water, how to reduce that wastage or how to reuse the water, that we has to be thought. A transparent water accounting of an industry needs a tool that can lead to better response strategies that are not topical but also custom built for location and season, that will help consumers make an informed choice. So what they are saying, that industries should also be such that they should let us know how they are doing the production, what are the things they are using, so that even we can decide for ourselves whether we want to consume the products of that particular company or not. Indian Standard Organization is working on a procedural standard on how to incorporate water footprint in a product life cycle assessment. Responsible citizens too need to be aware of their duty, which make wise choices and demand for transparency in information related to the use of water for all products that they use. So even Indian Standard Organization, it is working so that this detail about the usage of water can be found out, so that we as consumers also force the companies to provide us the data, to provide us the details, so that we can decide for ourselves. It's time industrial water disclosure be changed from voluntary to mandatory. After all, scarcity of water will lead to a drought in business too. So right now nobody is putting a check on the usage of water by industries, but a time will come when there will be scarcity of water. That means the amount which we require, the availability is less than that. So rather than reaching that stage, it is important right now we start checking our habits. Right now the companies become alert, otherwise one day they will reach a situation even they will not be able to make the products by using the water, because they will be also facing the shortage of water problem. So what Benjamin Franklin has said, he has said very nice sentence. He has said, when the well is dry, we know the worth of water. So Benjamin Franklin is trying to say us that it is better we become alert right away when we are blessed with the abundance of water to use every day. If suppose we reach a situation when there is no water coming out from our taps, if we have a well in the house that is dry, so do we have to wait for that day so that we can realize the importance of water, the value of water? No, we should not reach that particular stage. We should behave like educated people. We should be alert in advance, and we should make sustainable use of water, so that water is also available for the coming generations, and coming generations do not have any problem with that. So this was all about your lesson. What is your water footprint? I hope I have been able to clarify you everything mentioned in the lesson. If in case you are having any sort of doubts, you are free to ask me during your online classes. God bless you all, dear children.